hang on. We are live. It is Tuesday and we're live. It's not our normal Thursday time slot, but we had some really special guests, three really special guests actually, that we wanted to bring on today. And the only way we could get them was with a reindeer's time schedule this time of year. We have certain times that we can grab these folks and get them involved here. So we're welcoming today Rae and Tony Asta, the creators behind Zuu Zuu the Zuper-Zonic Reindeer. With the help of the Halton community, they turned their children's book into a Christmas carol and into their idea into a children's book and a Christmas carol, and a powerful message about perseverance, girl power, and inclusion in our local schools, which, given the state of the world, inclusionary kind of topics are like my jam right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wish this was the default setting for the planet, but we seem to have a bunch of people out there that want to separate us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so wonderful that you're able to do this. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no. So let's start with some really basic stuff here, because I'm interested in the background of what was it that drew you to writing a children's book in the first place?
Well, the idea actually came from our family, which is a tradition that happens probably with a lot of families that your listeners, which is we all know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the classic 60s claymation cartoon.
Yes.
That we've all seen it multiple times. We were watching it with our family, and we have three girls in our family. We have
and two guys,
2 boys, 3 girls. And there is a scene in it where Rudolph is trying out to be on Santa's sleigh team.
Mm-hmm.
And his friend Clarice comes up and wishes him luck. And what happens is, then she goes back. And the girls were like, hey, wait a minute. Why isn't she getting to try out with all the guys? Why are they getting to do their thing? And she has to go and watch and giggle from the side. Well, it didn't sit well with everybody. So he actually, and it was a bit of an issue. Like, we were like, okay, well, all right. Everybody was a bit excited about that.
Right.
So we had the discussion about it and went, yeah, what? Wait a minute. There's no girl ever on Santa's team. There's never been, and it's always the using that classic cartoon as our sort of reference or starting point.
Sure.
It's always been guys on the team and never girls. Why is there no girls? And why doesn't everybody get a shot at trying out on the team? So that was where the idea just started from.
That is so much fun. And so, it's a fun idea.
Mm-hmm.
And at what point did you realize that this isn't just a fun idea? This could be something that could be turned into like something that could be real for you.
I think for us, I mean, it was all about the community, Justin. It was when we started talking about this outside of our own home, like the notion of entrepreneurship, where you fall in love with your product or your service, and then you actually start talking to potential buyers, and they either tell you it's rubbish or you got something. But we realized very quickly we had something here, because no matter who we spoke to and would tell exactly the story Tony just shared, everyone got really incensed about it. To your point, there is such a sentiment amongst Canadians right now around inclusion that the minute we shared with them, we wanted to write a story where inclusion was at the very center of it. And everybody got on board and we're encouraging us to get on with it and write the story and publish the book, and then the rest we'll talk about.
Absolutely.
Well, that's hilarious. So what is the first step you take? Like, this seems like a monumental, like, it seems like a pretty big mountain to go from up here to on paper to something that's being published for real.
Yeah. So basically just starting the creative process was, well, what would a story like this be? What do we use as our launch point? And one of the biggest things, and as something as, again, the best way for us to start was to reach back into our childhood and look at what were those things that made Christmas or made these kind of stories big, which was little golden books. Everyone had the little golden books that we went through, and then it was, what makes that special? Well, remember we used to have the records, and you put those on and you listen, it would ding and do that. It was, that's something that everybody really liked. And then again, looking at any of the Christmas, our beloved Christmas characters have a song that goes along with them that explains their backstory. It's like watching an old sitcom where you'd watch the beginning of the show and that intro song told
where
you
everybody knows your name. Everybody knows where that's from, right? That sort of idea.
Exactly. Gilligan's Island. You can watch any episode because the opening song tells you exactly. What the show's about. So that was really our sort of launch point, is figuring out, okay, what's the name of the character? How is she going to function? And what is the idea of trying to get her on Santa's sleigh? And that's where it all started. Yeah. And then just going from there and going, okay, well, now we have to, now we kind of have, we know we're going to bake a cake. Now we got to find all the ingredients.
Right. That's always the fun part, I suppose, putting all those ingredients and getting them together. And I guess there must be some testing going on. Like, hey, let's write something. Yeah. Hey, kids, do you think this works? Kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of workshopping. Tony talked about Zuu Zoo's name, and that had changed many times on the journey, Justin, where we had a kind of working name, and then through some of the workshopping, it started to suggest that there was an alternative that would be better. And so there were 3 or 4 names before we actually settled on Zuu Zuu. Do you want to tell the story maybe about that? Yeah,
so we started with the original name was Mabel. And then then we started going, wait a minute, she's fast, and just getting everything going. But we felt that this is a project that should have a couple different connections to Christmas. That, like any good piece of media does, like a Toy Story, it appeals to adults and it appeals to kids and it appeals to everyone else. So Zuu Zuu came up after a couple different Z names because its connection, Zuu Zuu Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life. So Zuu Zuu, she only has 1 U. We have 2 U's, but
we have 4.
We have 4.
Yeah, technically, yes. 2 and 4, yes.
So we thought that's perfect. What a great connection that would be to another sort of beloved Christmas character is Zuu Zuu Bailey, and we all know the part in It's a Wonderful Life when George is having his point of redemption and he finds Zuu Zoo's petals and he pulls them out of his pocket. So we went, that's a good feeling there. So trying to actually induce a little more Christmas spirit and do some good feelings into it through that name.
And how do you go from, like, I guess now you've workshopped, and first of all, I love the idea that you've involved the children in this throughout the whole process, which is pretty cool because, it's funny. I'll be in the car with my son and we'll be driving and I'll have business conversations and we'll hang up the phone and he'll start asking me questions about those conversations. And we'll have meaningful conversations about that in the moment, which is cool. You have dropped your kids right in the middle of this essentially entrepreneurial project, which is amazing, and teaching them so much.
And I don't think anybody in the world is more honest with you as parents than your kids. I don't know whether that's true for you.
No, that is 100% true.
So
they are little names.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes
if we could sell the project to them, essentially, we knew that everybody else would frankly be a much easier sell than
you're right. You're right.
So funny enough, we did the first version. We'd gone into the recording studio and done the first version of the song. And the first version of the song, we brought it back and played it for everyone, and everybody went, And then our oldest daughter was like, I would listen to this for about 15 seconds. And then I would switch it off. And then it was like, okay, well, back to the drawing board.
Back to the studio.
Back to the studio we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, but you're right. Kids, my kids do it with our food. My son is a bit of a foodie, walks in and he's like, this needs more seasoning.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, fine. That's basically what your kids did to you for the book. So, so taking it from like the idea, getting it on paper, workshopping. Where do you go to publish this? How do you publish a book as an independent person?
Well, basically that, and that was probably the toughest part of this whole journey. We've had so much, again, in the community, we've had so much luck and support from people helping us with artwork, with music, with voices, and feedback. And then, our artist did nothing but help us.
Our illustrator.
Our illustrator,
Yeah.
she's just been absolutely dynamite. And the different musicians that we had involved and the voices that helped us were fantastic. But then actually getting down to the nitty gritty of printing it, there's a lot of research to do to get it from our basics to on the page.
Yeah, and certainly we had that big discussion and around, do we self-publish?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. Yeah.
Or do we pitch this idea to a publisher? Luckily, I had some experience of working with publishers before, and although it had been a positive experience, the realities are you lose a lot of control. And we were so emotionally invested in this project, I think the two of us, and wanted to retain as much control over what we do with this character, because we've got big plans for her, more of that in a minute, that we decided we'd probably take the slightly harder path in some ways, which is self-publishing. And as Tony said, the amount of research we did, speaking to other authors, going on forums in the middle of the night, trying to find recommendations for paths to self-publishing, and also self-publishing as a Canadian writer, author. We wanted to really make sure that this was, as much as is possible, a homegrown, made in Canada project. And so some of the things that we thought would be viable for us, we actually had to ultimately say no to, because that would, in the same way that people are seeing books being written by AI nowadays and self-published, we were very proud that this project actually used zero AI. It's all out of our creative brains. And equally with our publishing and getting it to market, we wanted it to really be a truly Canadian project.
Absolutely.
And knowing that you've had your hands in every piece of this, like you didn't just write it and send it off, which I think is probably what a publishing house would do for you, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
What part of the project, whether it's illustration or writing or music or production or whatever, ended up surprising you the most?
Surprising me the most, I think the idea for me, it was when the music and the music, the story, and the artwork all basically just all of a sudden came together. It all of a sudden just all clicked. And I went, oh, this is going to work. And that's probably and that's probably the thing that surprised me the most, because it all felt like it was all, like you have those on the television shows where you have that board where everything's connected by red thread.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden all that thread got pulled together, and we went, oh, wait a minute, this all works. This is all working perfectly. And that's, I think, what surprised us the most. And of course, the one thing that really was the most surprising and fulfilling is when it actually arrived here in physical form, and we actually, it's done. Wow.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think there's nothing like, from a creative process perspective, when you finally have that finished product in your hands, and it in and of itself, it doesn't tell the story of the journey, but it is such a perfect kind of culmination or milestone moment. And I took a video actually of Tony opening the box, one of those box opening reels.
Nice.
So we caught that moment of having the
so beautiful
book in our hands, in our kitchen at home, to be able to show the family.
Yeah.
This is not just about us. This has been a family project, as you mentioned earlier.
Oh, that gives me goosebumps. I love it. That's my favorite part so far. I can feel that from you, and I can feel the passion and the excitement you have around that, even just reliving it again in your brains as you tell us the story.
Yeah.
I find that so incredible. It reminds me very much of like having a child, because
oh yeah,
you have a kid, you support, you nurture, you build up, and then you can't do that. Now it's done. It's here. It's there. Go do your thing, bud.
But to that point, Justin, there's the same level of fear about, now we've got to send our baby out into the world.
Oh my goodness.
And hold your breath and hope that everyone's going to love them as much as you do.
Yeah, that's the biggie.
That's really cool. Well, on that note, given that your book is about inclusion,
Yes.
you know, and we know the inspiration behind it and how that all started.
Mm.
How are local schools using the book and the carol to open up those inclusionary conversations with other students?
It's a great question.
Yes.
Certainly, we've had a lot of interest from teachers, you know, amongst the best people on our planet, if you ask me.
Of course, yes. Agreed.
And local teachers who are so actively trying to find ways to bring those incredible and critical conversations into the classroom with their students. And so once we were lucky enough to have a few teachers who said we would be happy to try this for you in our schools. And so we've been going into schools in the community, offering readings, talking about the kind of stuff we've talked about today as well with the older elementary students who themselves are thinking about writing and creative endeavors, and you know, in terms of their own future goals. And so it's just been fantastic. We also had produced a supporting kind of pack of materials for teachers to use, some fun stuff to use in the run up to the holidays. And then certainly from what we've heard with the teachers who've been kind enough to try that with us and for us, is it really is supporting important conversations about inclusion in a fun and accessible way for, you know, early childhood, kind of kindergarten, even right through to the end of elementary age. And then so we're super proud of that, quite honestly.
We had a great experience last week at one of the local schools.
Shout out to Captain R. Wilson in Oakville.
Hey.
Yeah.
And all the kids were in. All the kids were. We had a wonderful. They were hilarious too.
Yeah.
But they had some funny feedback. But everybody was great, and it was a real. It was a real nice thing, and one thing that really it kind of was a nice sort of very Christmas type experience where all the kids, no matter what their background were, they were all in. They were like, yes, we like this, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, because
isn't that the point though?
Yeah, it is exactly that. And we recognize when we made this a Christmas story, that in itself could have been exclusionary.
Yeah.
And so we were very careful about that when we went into the schools. But in fact, to Tony's point, the children, and don't they always lead the way?
Yeah.
Kind of almost that became secondary to the message of inclusion, and the fact, as Tony said earlier, we really wanted to reinforce this point that everybody deserves to be able to try out. You know, everybody deserves to be able to take a shot at what matters most to them.
And everybody deserves a spotlight.
Yeah, their minute in the spotlight.
Sure.
So they just got it. They just engaged with the message.
Absolutely.
As Tony said, there were some funny moments. We started the talks in the schools with talking about character development, actually. Right. And we were holding Zuu Zuu up, our plushie of Zuu Zuu, and asking the children, you know, what is it about her design that tells you she's Zuper-Zonic fast? And yeah, let's just say there were some hilarious answers that include some good ones where, bless them, they were so engaged. They wanted to have their moment in the spotlight, and that's what this is about. And so we had to work hard on our straight faces and positive, affirmations. So gives you a whole new amount of respect for those teachers in classrooms with our kindergarten to grade.
You know, I was having this conversation, and this is going to get a little dark and deep here, I think, on this bubbly moment. But I was having this conversation, I think 2 or 3 days ago, about how we are currently taking steps backwards in inclusion, in the inclusion space, you know, removing DEI from things, and, you know, the conversations around that and so on and so forth. And I really, truly believe, like, we're all on this planet to be together cohesively. I don't care who you are, what you look like, what your religion is, whatever. Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever, everything in between. We're just here. So we might as well make the best of it with each other, right? And so I just think that this message is so timely in a way. to be able to bring this to people. And part two of that is children don't know anything before they're born.
Right.
Everything they have in their brain is learned behavior.
Yeah.
Right. Every adult on this planet that is the way they are because of their upbringing and the things that they've learned along the way. Right. And so it's going to take years to evolve out, decades to evolve out the negativity of this planet. If ever, they may never do it, but at least there's people like you taking the time, making the effort, irrelevant of your intention. I know your intention is good, but you've made the effort to create this safe space for people to have a fun little moment and learn about this at a young age to be able to set them up for their future success. That's me.
Thank you.
The
That's
kids say glazing. That's me glazing you.
Thank you.
That's a good thing.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. This gets a little bit into, you mentioned already about young writers and things like that. What advice would you give to other local creators or young people that have a big idea in their heart or their brain, but just don't really know where to start?
Just start.
Just
start. It's going to be bad to start with. It really is going to be bad, and that's part of the process. Nobody writes the final draft of their book or that it creates the finished painting with the first stroke of the brush.
Right.
It is just about practice and an iteration and receiving feedback and acting on that feedback. But again, ultimately it's your project. We corrected ourselves about midway through the project, where we caught ourselves getting too fixated on the end of the journey. And we said to each other, this is just about us as a family having a fun project to work on together, to learn together. If the book didn't sell a single copy, it still would have been worthwhile for us.
You're going to have that. Your kids will have that for generations from going forward, irrelevant of anything else.
So I think for me, that would be my advice. Just start. Nobody's going to judge you. You don't even have to give your work or product or creative output to anybody. You can just enjoy it for yourself.
And if I can add to that, don't give up. Don't give up, because when we got in spring of this year, we hit a bunch of severe speed bumps in getting this to print. And it was like, there's a couple moments where we had spent, a couple hours or 4 hours back to back trying to figure out and iron out some things. It was like, and that's where all of a sudden the self-doubt comes in. And the best way to beat the self-doubt is do the work. And for us, we were lucky. We worked it all out, and we've still bumped into a couple problems, but we never pulled the ripcord on stopping. And when it arrived here and in the state it was all worth it.
And building on that as well, back again to this topic of the community, ask for help.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Because certainly we both have a tendency by nature not to do that. We want to solve the problems ourselves. But the community, in a variety of different ways, helped us get through those speed bumps, whether that was through kind of input or guidance or suggestions, and sometimes just by encouragement, saying, come on, you got this, you can do this. And so again, to your point, Justin, about everybody coming together, that's what we can do for each other and get these creative projects across the line.
The best laid plans can be derailed by one moment, right? And it's wonderful to be able to business, like sport and like so many other things, is so fluid, right?
Exactly.
And so, it's interesting to hear that you've had those speed bumps. Like, people are nothing worth having. There's so many cliches. Nothing worth having is, without a fight or whatever. The one I was thinking of was the journey to a million begins with one.
Exactly.
How many times have people said, your success could be just over that horizon, but you'll never know if you never make it. That kind of stuff. All of that plays in here. And I love that thought process that you guys stuck to it. And the last one that I'll kind of point out that I'm hearing here that I love is, you might have been smart and clever with how you built the book and how you wrote the story and you asked for feedback, but there's probably certain portions of the journey where you're like, I don't know how to do this.
Yes.
Who's the person that knows how to do this? that can either guide us or help us or do
Yeah.
something to kind of move us in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think the message there is, to your point, ask for help, because you don't know everything.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right. And
That's
none of
true.
us succeed alone. You know, it
Well,
absolutely, however you define success, nobody succeeds alone. And this
Agreed.
project has been an absolute demonstration of that.
Well, and it's also been a real demonstration of everyone's generosity of will and time. And we've really had so many people just go, we want to see you succeed, and we're willing to help. And we wanted it even from our kids going out to Christmas markets with us and doing that, from local business people going, yeah, we're here to support you. You know, please put the books in our business and come out to our events. And we'd love to, we love the message. We like what you've done. We really want to help you get to the next.
That's amazing.
So
there is kindness out there.
An abundance of it, Justin.
Sometimes it's hard to see, but it's there.
Totally. And I'm so glad to be talking about that with you through this channel today, because I think, you know, particularly we observe through social media, there is so much, it's so skewed to the negative. The more we can be talking about, you know, the true kindness that exists in our communities, that builds the cohesion that we're all longing for, rather than the division that is being created by the negative.
I agree.
And again, the support our community, the people and the businesses, and everyone in the community has shown for us has just been overwhelmingly fantastic.
Could we give a few shout outs?
100%. That's why we're here. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
So
I was going to mention that.
Let's start with our illustrator, the wonderful Tina Duran, who is currently a student actually at Sheridan College here in Oakville in the animation program.
Yes.
Tony met her, Serendipity, another great Christmas movie, but Tony's serendipity of meeting Tina. Do you want to quickly tell that story?
I have a musical background, and she had an acoustic guitar for sale, and I bought it off of her, and we got to chatting. And
come on.
Yeah, seriously.
And I said, look, this is the project I'm working on. Would you like to be involved? And she said, yeah, I'd love to be involved in that. And talk about an absolutely, first of all, talent beyond talent, and also just a great work ethic. And she was able just to channel everything that we've asked for onto paper, and it's just turned out fantastic. So yes, all the best. Nothing but wonderful things to say about Tina and what she's done for us.
And then we should also shout out to the music point, B-Town Sound in Burlington, who we had the privilege of using their recording studios.
Their facility was fantastic.
Team
great team there. Nathan, who did the engineering for me, was just top notch. Fantastic in terms of technology, and was able for me to work on a producing and directing, and got that done.
And then the vocal talents of 4 wonderful young girls from Shepherd Private Coaching in Burlington, who came into the studio with Tony and Nathan and absolutely nailed it in terms of the vocal stylings of our song.
And to take that one more, Miss Lauren, who runs Shepherd Private Coaching, has done nothing but support us and give us everything that we've needed, and provided us with these girls, but also just along the line has been the most supportive person to help get the music and get everything going.
She even worked the song into their Christmas show this year. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, she's great.
That's really cool.
And then locally to us, film.ca, Jeff Knowles here. He is a big fan of It's a Wonderful Life. If you go into the Oakville theatre, you'll see some Zuu Zuu branding of their own. Not our Zuu Zuu, but Zuu not yet. Anyway, not yet.
No, not yet.
and Jeff and the team there have been incredible. We're
fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to be doing lots with them. Retro Festive, which I don't know whether anyone is aware of, is Holton's only, I think, 365-day-a-year Christmas store here in Oakville.
Yeah. Ty and Jordy there have been nothing but supportive to us.
And,
They've been wonderful.
And I have to say as well, Indigo. So our
Oh.
national bookseller have actually been really great to work with as a self-published consignment author.
Absolutely.
They have had us in to do book signings across the GTA.
Wow.
So you think even from a what might feel like a small project like this, even the big boys and girls are out there to help you.
Yeah.
You know, if they believe in your project. So that has been
Indigo
really
has
great.
been nothing but supportive to us.
Yeah.
What I'd like to hear there is that you often hear these big box stores getting crapped on for being terrible and taking market share from the small but you are the small fish in the big pond, and they're giving you your voice, which I think is incredible.
That's
they
amazing.
Have been our last signing in Indigo was at Lime Ridge Mall and it couldn't have been a more absolutely fantastic experience for us. Like they extended a very wonderful and welcoming hand to us. And I can't complain about any of the Indigos, but for our very last one, it was just such a nice point to land on, and they were just lovely, and they've been great. They've been wonderful to us.
Yeah.
All right, is that the list? Because I got one last question that I think is very important.
Good question, and I will mentally make sure we have.
Yes, we will add it in later. Yes. So the big one is obviously we have the story now. We have I don't want to give away the ending and the whole thing. I want people to go read it.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. But is there plans for a Zuu Zuu 2?
Yes.
Or I'm just thinking out loud. Zuu Zuu cartoon?
Well,
animated? I don't know.
This has been a question that has popped up a lot of times. Is this going to be a cartoon? Is this going to be a movie? And we're hoping so. That's one of the next plans for this year. And as far as the next sort of stage or adventures for Zuu Zuu and maybe other characters coming up and interacting, we've got other plans and we have other ideas and and again, other people have kind of said, "Hey, do you know what would be fun?" Or we've had a lot of people that have said, "Hey, you know what you need?" And we're like, "Oh, that's really good."
Yeah. Will you sign a waiver so we can?
Well, I'll tell you what. I am willing to give up my vocal talents for any animated process that you want to go through. I am happy to be. I can be fun. I can be goofy. I can be whatever. I'm just auditioning. Whatever you need me to do, I can do this.
That's great.
We will absolutely keep that in
mind.
Now
it's live. Everyone's seen it. You've said yes. So I mean, hey, we got to do something. Okay,
I don't know that we actually said yes. Then I think we said.
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out and say yes right then and there. So there we go.
We have been shamelessly coining the phrase the Zuu Zuu verse, Justin. So it's a bit of a play, of course, on the multiverse.
I love it.
Which we're all familiar with.
No, this has been incredible. You guys are just so adorable and amazing, and you couldn't have like what you've done couldn't have matched your personalities and everything that you are any better, right? Quite frankly.
Thank you.
And it's just been, my wife's texting me as we go, she's saying, oh, she's from Bristol, and my wife's from England too, right? So I'm like, you're good people from Bristol. I mean,
thanks. We are. True. It is true.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on. What we're going to do is we're going to put all the links for your book where you can purchase it, for the song, everything all below. Andrea's doing all that right now as we speak. It's probably already on the chat.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to reach out or go for a last minute Christmas gift or start a new tradition of reading this to your family like we do before before Christmas Eve we read books and stuff to our kids. So even at teenage level, we still do the old traditions. So,
and they're important as families. That's what.
Yeah, of course.
Sing together, read together, and enjoy things together. I think there's nothing better in the Christmas season, whether it's enjoying a book together or singing a song together or just sitting down and watching Die Hard together. You
literally, like, honestly,
Christmas
I think the whole thing is we spend all this time apart and then we spend this couple weeks or a week or whatever coming together.
Precious
and
time.
I think it's my favorite time of year just because of that.
Yeah,
Here,
know,
us-
I
absolutely.
couldn't care less about the gifts or even
Yeah.
the stories and Santa Claus, all the things. I
Yeah.
just want to be with my family.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Time's the best gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, guys. We'll
Thank
end
you.
it there.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you so much. Don't go anywhere because we're going to chat after. But thanks everyone for coming on and watching the show today. Talk to you soon, everyone. Bye.
Our pleasure.